One of the things I never liked about this oven is the fact that the indicator on the top and the numbers on the dial are so far apart it can be hard to tell where you are. So what I did is pulled these off and saw these two shanks with different shapes and started taking measurements on my calipers. Let me show you what I did with it. Alright, first and foremost, I opened up my notebook and I took some measurements of the two different types of shanks. I quickly realized this one was very unique, but also it's the mode switch, so it doesn't actually require a lot of granularity. So I just switched this to an overall circumference. This had a little side lopped off of, which I did do, that way it stays accurate. So after those measurements came out, sometimes the printer is off or sometimes your measurement's off, so I created these strips of 4 different sizes, slightly increased or decreased from each other, and slid those on the shanks and figured out which one was perfect. After doing that, I had the perfect hole to fill any of these arrows, and I designed 2 main types. So the circular type and kind of the more standard straight type. In the end, with all things considered, not getting into the minutia of it, these types ended up winning the day. So I started playing around with thicknesses. I also started doing stuff like starting off with straight edges and rounding them out to be more efficient, and they're more accurate when you print with round edges for various reasons. And eventually, I got all the way down to these two, which are 1 keyed, 1 not keyed, 1 millimeter thick arrows. Let me go and install them for you, and you can see how they work. Alright, so both have been placed on their respective shanks. This one's just circular and can move, and that's perfectly fine for this instance because there's so few options. If it drifts, we'll know that. This one is keyed, and I won't move it because it doesn't have the strength to move that on its own. But over here, you can see them fully installed. And on our mode switch, and we can see that we are quickly switching between. And if we really hammer it home, someone putting way too much pressure and effort into it, you can see it still pretty much sticks where I left it. And if you had to adjust it, you could. This one being keyed and no rubbing on those screws here means that it will stay aligned no matter what. So it's a little off center from off, but that's because the dial itself is as well. So anyway, I hope you guys liked the video, and that's how I took a little problem and solved it.